Happy Friday. Good afternoon, everybody. It's chamber check-in time to finish out this fun week. And we got a little rain, so I'm excited for some maybe some warm chili and soup with the family. Hey, today we get a conversation with Travis Hochter. He's the studio director at Studios. Speak Studios is a relatively new company to Boise, offering a chance for people to be heard through their podcast studio. It's really cool, and I can't wait to hear more. But before we get to Travis, I get to thank our series sponsor of Delta Dental of Idaho. And Delta Dental, they're the experts in dental insurance, offering best-in-class customer service with industry-leading benefits designed and backed by the largest network of dentists in the country. So now I get to share some words from our sponsor.
These days, we're homebodies like never before, so our snack and beverage choices may have changed. So remember to keep your smile and your oral health in check with healthier food and snacks, smarter beverages, and regular brushing and flossing.
Smarter food choices, yes. Thank you, Delta Dental. And now it's my pleasure to introduce our studio director, Travis Hochter. Hi, Travis.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Hey, thanks for taking some time with me today. And I get to learn and help share the Speak story. So with that, I learned that you guys joined the chamber here just earlier this year in 2021.
Yeah, I think we were the first ribbon cutting of the year, apparently, was what we were told. Yeah.
That was really cool. And you're an outfit out of Spokane. So tell me a little bit about why and how Speak Studios came into existence, and then why did you move the studio or expand to Boise?
Yeah, so the company started last August is when we first opened in Spokane, and it was founded by a guy named Brandon Foote and then another guy named Roberto Rodriguez, and both of them kind of came up with the idea. Brandon essentially wanted to start his own podcast, but like didn't really know how to do that or anything like that. And then he's a big business guy, so he's like, well, let's just start a podcast company. And that's kind of how that came to fruition. And then they started in Spokane, had a really cool studio built out and everything like that. And then things were going well. They got a lot of sponsors. We had a really big team to kind of start off and kind of hit the ground running for a startup company. We were doing really well. And then after that, they kind of wanted to test, kind of the goal was to have a bunch of these all over the country. And so they went to Coeur d'Alene first, just to kind of 30 minutes away, just kind of a close little move, just to kind of test things out. And they could still drive over if anything went wrong. And so that one went really well too. And then Boise was kind of their first big studio launch with they knew what they were doing now. We had a little bit more experience and everything like that. And then that's when I came into the picture. So I got hired on January 15th. And then I think we opened I got hired at the ribbon cutting ceremony, actually. So randomly enough.
So yeah, come to our ribbon cuttings, you'll get a job.
Exactly. Yeah, that was basically my interview was kind of there. And they're like, cool, do you want it? And I was like, oh, yeah. And so it was cool. They brought on me and this my other coworker named Ryan Seekert. And so both of us started as audio techs, and we were in charge of scheduling everybody. We would kind of customer experience recording. We're trying to get new podcasters to come on with us. And then around about a month ago, our company kind of split off a little bit. Everyone's still involved with Speak and everything like that, but the Spokane sector, they're focused on more of expansion and things like that. So they're actually opening up another studio in the Office Evolutions in Portland right now that's opening this week. And so they're kind of working on that and expansion and managing Spokane, who has a lot more like premium creators like Adam Morrison and Mark Rippon and a couple of bigger names like that. And then Boise, Roberto took over the Boise studio is kind of a franchise opportunity, I guess. So we're a lot more independently run now. It's just me, Roberto, and Ryan. But I think it's been definitely a good adjustment because now I get to do all the podcast production. So as well as like scheduling and working with the podcasters, I'm actually in charge of like making the content and releasing it and distributing it to Apple and Spotify and things like that. But yeah, I think it's a really cool, basically we're kind of just the introduction to podcasting for people. So if anyone's never had any experience, or there's a lot of people that want to start a podcast, it's still a pretty new space, but no one knows how to, there's a lot of ways to do it at home, but it's really not the professional quality everyone's looking for and stuff. So we kind of offer that in between on people looking to get into it, but also we can provide a very like quality product at the end that sounds professional, like you were paying thousands of dollars to make a podcast. So yeah, that's kind of how we started, and that's where we're going. And then I guess the Office Evolutions thing was about a month ago during this switch. Part of that was we had to move spaces, and so when we were already talking to Office Evolutions about doing kind of more micro studios that are kind of unmanned studios with a little bit less attention towards them, and so we were already kind of in talks with Office Evolutions people and Melissa, who Paul knows, and so we basically sat down with them, and they were like, hey, instead of doing this other studio thing, like what if we just put our studio in your guys' space? And we think it's a really good collaboration too, because Office Evolutions, it's all kind of entrepreneurs, business-minded people. Everyone kind of in the space is doing very similar things that we're doing, which is really nice. And so hopefully a couple of them will start a podcast with us. But yeah, it's great. And it's definitely a lot more affordable to do it through Office Evolutions and stuff like that. And I think we're a little bit more in downtown now, and we're kind of in the younger business entrepreneur scene, which is really cool. And I think that's definitely what our business model is. And we kind of have a lot of similarities and a lot of collaboration, which is really nice.
Okay. Thanks for the background, a little bit about the history and where you're at now. When I talk about podcasting, I've heard quite a bit of it lately. And what I've noticed is I'll go to some marketing companies, agencies, and I'll see that they'll have a room that's set up to do podcasting, but they do everything else. So is this kind of like the first specific studio for podcasting that you know of?
Yeah, I think so. Podcasting is kind of it's kind of in a weird space right now because it's really new. It's really popular. There's like hundreds of thousands of podcasts you can go listen to, and everyone kind of does them a different way. There's some people that just have like basically the same setup we're doing, and that's how they record their podcast. Or some people, pay for these really big, like typically they're like music or recording studios or TV studios almost, and that's how they record a podcast. So we're kind of that kind of in between, I guess. That's more of a user-friendly, kind of available for everyone, really accessible studio. But we only really do podcasting. We also are trying to kind of work on video podcasting too, which is really popular. Some more like YouTube videos and stuff like that. But yeah, we always stick to just podcasts basically is what we do. And I think there's other like similar competitors and things we found, none in Boise that we've noticed. But I think our big selling point, I guess, is that we provide the studio space as well. So it's not just we're not just like an online tech company. Like we can sit you down, teach you how to talk to the microphones. There's a lot more like kind of things that they learn as they go a little bit, which is kind of nice because we get to be a lot more hands-on with them, and they get to like learn more about like the recording industry and stuff like that as well, on top of just making their podcast, which is really cool.
So anybody can come down and record a podcast with you. It's not just for the professional podcaster. So tell me.
Yeah. So it's not just for the professional podcaster. And if anything, those are kind of clients that we don't really have as much of, because if you're big and successful like that and you have all the resources and stuff, usually you can kind of hire on people and you can pay enough money to have you can figure out a service or people that will do it for you. But people that don't have that access, or they don't know the people to talk to or anything like that, they can just come to us simple, and all they have to do is they just need content for their podcast, and then we will help them with like music that goes in the beginning. We edit all of it for them. We make sure it's on Apple and Spotify and whatever other platforms they may request, and we kind of take all that headache out of it, which I think is really good for them, because then they can only focus on the podcast and what everyone actually cares about, which is what they're talking about on the podcast, and we take care of all the other stuff, which is really nice. So yeah, we'll take clients big and small. We work with all sorts of different people, a big range of people. But yeah, I think our biggest thing is we just make it's accessible for everyone, and it's easier whether you're a pro business person or you're just doing this kind of as a fun little side hobby. Either way.
Okay. Hey, tell me more about what to expect if I come down there and I want to record a podcast. Like, what does it cost? How much time? Take me through the next steps.
Yeah. So basically how we kind of like to do it is a lot of people, they come in for a tour before their first session. And that's just a good time to we hash out like ideas on what their podcast is about, kind of what they're thinking, how they want to structure their show a little bit, and just kind of get to know them more and know their show a little bit more. And then if they're all ready and want to commit, they can sign up for, we have a couple packages available. Our cheapest one, we actually just we were a free model before, but we kind of just switched to a paid model just to kind of covering our recording fees a little bit more. It wasn't quite adding up, I guess. But so the cheapest package right now is $200 a month. And that includes, you get 4-hour-long recording sessions. So you can release an hour-long podcast every week, which is pretty standard for most people, or some people do two times a month, or kind of whatever schedule you want to do. But that's where it's set. And then we also have like a $500 and $1,000 package. And those ones include like video services for video podcasts for YouTube and stuff like that. And so all of our, most of our creators right now, except for we actually just had our first video creator sign up this week, which is really exciting. But everyone else is just on that basic membership. So they just do 4 basic audio recordings. And then on that first session, you'll come in for the tour, and then you'll sign up for your first recording session. At your first session, we'll get like the actual name for your podcast down, the kind of description that goes in. We'll either talk about artwork. We can either assist you in making your artwork, or some people just bring us stuff they already have. And then, so we'll kind of get all that basic podcast information down. And then the first session's a little bit longer, just so we can do all that stuff. And then they still have time to record a full hour-long podcast before they leave. So yeah, it's basically just kind of a tour and just a lot of conversations, I guess, on kind of getting a really good scope on what your show's about. So yeah, we do, unfortunately we do have to charge now, and we have a price to it, but I think it's a little bit more fair for like what value we can provide and stuff like that. We also are trying to work with more sponsors and things like that. So we have a couple podcasters right now that they don't pay for podcasting or anything like that, but we've arranged with different sponsors that they've helped us with and stuff like that to come on, and they cover all those recording fees for them, which is super cool. And then in exchange for like advertisements and things you typically hear on a podcast. But I think our system's a little bit different than like if you've ever listened to like a really big podcast. There's tons of advertisers on it. They're all coming from all over the place. There's usually a big team of sponsors and stuff. Ours is less focused on like more of an advertising approach, but it's more of like a sponsorship. So like you're getting your name out there and you can help promote your business, but you're bigger than that. You're also getting to like let this person have their podcast and be able to speak whatever they want and kind of have this show and give them an outlet basically. So yeah, we're kind of we're in the process right now of kind of trying to find more sponsors, bringing them on board. And at first it was advertisers, and we kind of just placed them anywhere on our network, kind of any podcast, we just kind of put them all over. And we were realizing trying to go out to sponsors, it was a little bit more difficult to try to just convince them to go on this network, versus now we're trying to market individual shows and be like, hey, this guy's show, like he really likes your brand, and you guys have a lot of like common demographics and things like that. And we try to find a connection between that sponsors and the podcasters, so then it can be a win-win situation for everyone is the goal. But
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I am just, the wheels are turning up here. I'm thinking any of these marketing companies that don't have a podcast studio that's trying to help their clients, Speak's a great opportunity to connect with and collaborate with. Hey, is there anything else for everybody? I've got their website scrolling on the bottom of the screen, so you can find out a little bit more about them at speakstudios.com. And you're right downtown, right on 9th and Main there in that first level of that building. So go see Travis. But educate me a little bit more, Travis, on any other thing that we haven't discussed in our quick conversation today.
I don't know if I can really. I think you covered it pretty well, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we kind of went over everything.
The podcast for your clients, and you have a studio which is pretty swanky. If I remember it, the last time you guys doll it up real nice, and it's super comfy and the high tech equipment. And you're also providing some video opportunities as well. Looks like on the horizon, and and you've discussed the price per membership or like monthly subscription type of thing. So for those of you that are interested in starting a podcast or just want to be heard and need a platform to be heard from, Speak and Travis here is a great opportunity to connect with.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, hey, thanks for your membership and investment in the community. When you guys first moved here to Boise with your studio, you joined your local Chamber of Commerce, which says a lot about you, Travis, about investing in the community, the culture of the team, and the culture of the brand. So I look forward to watching your business grow. And again, thanks for your time and thanks for your investment.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You bet, Travis. Have a great weekend.
You as well.